Get ready for full tilt pro bass action. Winning tips and techniques. Inside info and tournament strategies to make you a better bass angler. Big fish, hot sticks, and serious money on the line. This is the 2003 Gander Mountain Pro-Am Invitational Bass Tour. Brought to you by Columbia Sportswear, Triton Boats, and Mercury Marine. Now, let's let her rip. The Gull Chain. Considered the gem of the popular Brainerd Lakes area, Gull and its offspring lakes are ringed with hundreds of lake homes and dozens of resorts and businesses catering to the vacationing throng. Throughout the summer months, the Gull Chain is pressured by tens of thousands of anglers and recreational boaters. Yet despite the intense activity, Gull remains one of Minnesota's most prolific fisheries, boasting healthy and growing populations of game fish.
I think Gull Lake has to be one of the most fertile lakes that we fish. If you look, all these lily pads and channels and bays, there's lots of places for these fish to spawn. And when there's a lot of places to spawn, a lot of bass get hatched. And that's really good. There's fish from 2-3 inches all the way up to 5-6 pounders. It's one of the most diverse lakes in the state as far as largemouth bass goes.
Gull's bass, although on average not as large as those in previous Gander Tour lakes, are thriving and plentiful. And here, tightly grouped in their midsummer haunts, they should be easy to catch. The trick won't be finding schools of fish. The trick is finding schools of big fish.
Not going to win any tournaments, but it's a sign of life.
As the fourth and final tournament in this year's Gander Mountain Pro Bass Tour, Gull is an important factor. This is the last chance for anglers to accumulate standings points in the series. A tight race for Angler of the Year will be decided today. Dean Capra holds a 21-point lead, but Michael Carter, Brent Carlson, and Howie Lee are separated by just 1 point in second place. A good showing by any of them could challenge Capra for the lead. Adding pressure to the rest of the field is the fact that Gull is the final cut for the Tournament of Champions. Only the top 40 pros and top 10 amateurs will qualify, and there's a tight group of anglers hovering precariously around that nerve-wracking number 40 spot. What's the plan? As we said, there are lots and lots of fish in lots and lots of locations. Summertime on Main Lake Gull means deep weeds on humps and flats. That's where the big fish should be. But the dock bite is usually pretty consistent and might tempt anglers away from deep water.
Go back under the dock. Go. We're gonna leave these docks now.
It's kind of a toss-up on this particular body of water between docks and weed lines, where on other lakes you'll have real predominant dock bite or a real predominant weed line bite. Me personally, I've been catching fish about the same size in both situations. Quick release. See if we can't get another one.
The Gull Chain's upper reaches are warmer and more shallow. Up there, the channels and slop hold plenty of fish as well, and that gamble could be a winner. This time of year, you just never know.
These long no-wake zones are why you really got to question where you go here. If once you're back here and I'm in this maze of no wake, I've got probably, maybe 45 minutes of straight downtime. No fishing, just driving. And if you go back here and you strike out, that's a lot of time to waste for nothing. So I got to make some real hard decisions here shortly.
Look for anglers to be working deep with big cranks and large profile plastics on jigs and Texas rigs. On the docks, it'll be tubes and leggy plastics and minnow baits.
Beautiful.
In the slop, they'll be pitching big critters on rattle jigs and ripping weedless spoon baits through the junk. It'll be interesting to say the least.
But you really have to be versatile. You have to be able to do everything and adjust to what the fish want, because at different times of the year they're on different patterns, whether they're eating crayfish on the bottom or chasing minnows schooling. So you need to recognize that and adjust and be good at just about everything to be successful out here.
So, one more hand to play, and it's time to lay the cards on the table. Will Dean Capra hang on for Angler of the Year? Who'll get burned in the race for the final 40? And where will the big bag come from? It's all unfolding right now on Gull Lake with the final round of the 2003 Gander Mountain Pro-Am Bass Tour.
In order to be a major player, you've got to have 22 pounds minimum, and hopefully you can add to that. If you can add and get a couple of kicker fish, you can do 23 and even 24. And that's what it's going to take. Get that fish! Yes, baby, yeah!
This is it. Last chance at the run for Angler of the Year. Last chance to make the cut for the championship. And these guys are wired. Gull Lake is loaded with bass. Not the biggest fish in Minnesota, but they're everywhere, hanging out in tight groups on hundreds of typical midsummer spots. Deep weeds and bars, docks, channels, slop. Finding fish is the easy part of pre-fishing for the Gull tourney. Finding the right fish, the big fish, is the challenge. Bass tend to school according to size. That means if you find one big mama, chances are she's in good company. Theoretically, this tournament could be won with 8 fish coming off a single spot.
The spot was so cool, someone forgot to tell the fish.
The question is, where's that spot going to be? Let's hear what some of the pros are planning for this all-important final round.
I think my main pattern is going to be deep weed lines to get my limit, and then I think some of the bigger fish are going to come shallow, be it lily pads or docks.
I'm going to fish 2 different patterns, standing reeds and weed edges that have inside turns.
So we alternate between the weed line and the cabbage flats and see if I can, raise up about 8 fish. That weigh about 4 pounds a piece would be great, but I don't know. It's been kind of tough so far.
In all 3 previous Gander tournaments, anglers have faced fish in different seasonal stages. Pre-spawn on Lake Pepin, transitional post-spawn on the whitefish, and approaching summer peak on Tonka. Here on Gull, summer peak is winding down. The bass are still in their summertime patterns, although a bit less aggressive than they were a few weeks ago. Subtle differences to be sure, but in a tournament that can be won by mere ounces, those subtleties become all important.
That was deep. 17 feet.
If you don't adjust to what stage the fish are in and figure out what stage they're in, you're very likely to be fishing water that's going to be unproductive.
You got to get out, you got to take the time and learn where they're at, what they're doing, and how they're biting, and hope for the best.
I think it's very crucial as far as tournament angling to know what stage the fish are in.
Toward the end of summer peak, it's the big fish that tend to feed less actively. They'll be lying low, fat and happy, content to take their pick of a virtual smorgasbord of baitfish passing right in front of their noses. But it's these hard-to-trigger big fish the anglers will need to win today. That means now, more than ever, nuances in presentation will come into play, and there are hundreds of options to choose from.
One of the real important things as far as being consistent, everywhere you go, really need to have a good working knowledge of all the different techniques and types of baits, types of tackle, how to fish them, and what conditions they'll work best in.
That's one of the key things that you have to build when you're building all these different techniques, is confidence in the technique and in the presentation that you're using.
Like right here, I'm fishing this cabbage point, and it goes all the way across the lake, and there's a variety of ways to fish it. I mean, you can cast crankbaits and cover it real fast. You can fish the worms, fish it a little bit slower. Right now I'm running a jig. There's a lot of different ways to catch them out here. That's what makes it so fun.
The better you are at each one of, at every different presentation, I guess the rewards are going to come with that.
Gull promises to be a tight race. The bass are plentiful, but really big fish may be few and far between, and there's a lot riding on this tournament. So what's it going to take to win? Here's what some of the pros are thinking.
A 3-pound average, you're definitely going to be in the top 3. If you can get 20 pounds, you'll definitely be in the money.
I think it'll take about 23 to 24 pounds of fish to win the tournament.
Predicting 22.5 will do it.
Somebody might crack a big bag, come in with 24 pounds, and I think that'll definitely win.
We got some really good sticks up here. The fish have been going pretty good. I'm guessing it's going to be 24 to 26 pounds.
There you go. The guys are confident but anxious. As we said, this last regular season tourney can make or break the whole year for a lot of these anglers. Who'll come away with Angler of the Year? Who'll make the cut for the championship? And who'll be packing it in for the season? We'll soon find out, so stick around. When you talk fishing gear, one category that seldom gets discussed is clothing. Clothes designed to keep you warm, to keep you cool, to keep you dry. Here's Mike Curry.
As technology has advanced, natural fibers have been replaced by synthetics. Wool and cotton have been virtually eliminated in the modern performance outerwear. Poly undergarments wick perspiration away to keep you warmer on cold days and cooler on hot days. Synthetic fleece products provide soft warmth with a fraction of the bulk and the weight of natural fabrics. And outerwear items repel wind and rain while still allowing circulation of air to the body. Perhaps the ultimate in outdoor garb is the latest generation of multifunction garments. Rain gear and winter wear with zip-out liners give you the option of 3 or 4 different jacket applications in one. One day it's a light raincoat, the next a cool weather jacket, the next sleet and wind-resistant winter parka. Even pants have entered the multifunction genre. Quick-drying synthetic fabric cargo pants feature zip-off legs, which convert long pants to shorts in a matter of seconds. And as much as we hate to admit it, elastic waistbands provide far more comfort than an unyielding leather belt, especially when you spend all day in the boat seat. Comfort, functionality, and performance. It's what you look for in a truck, in a boat, and even in a rod and reel. Now that technology has changed, you might as well look the part.
Hey, thumbs up on the elastic waist. Don't go away. We'll be back with all the tournament action from Gull Lake right after this.
Beautiful.
It's a glorious August morning as anglers gather at Ernie's on Gull, getting ready for blastoff. This is the big day. Last chance at point standings. Last chance at Angler of the Year. Who will it be? In just a few hours, the scales will tell the tale. Here we go in the final round of the 2003 Gander Mountain Pro-Am Bass Tour. It's a beautiful morning as the sun rises over Gull Lake. Warm temperatures, calm winds, and the lake is flat as a pancake. Anglers will have their choice of spots as they venture out for the final round. As they found in practice, the fish are everywhere, and that's just where these guys are headed. Everywhere. Some head for the deep weeds, some for the docks, and some, like Brad Leifermann, decide to do the wild thing. Wild rice, that is.
Just lift him in.
Cody Drazel and his partner Ron Baum have set up on a huge weed point loaded with active bass.
This might be a little better one, Ron.
The fish are hitting everything Cody and Ron are throwing at them, and they're hoping to limit early.
It's always a good feeling when you got your hit. Morning. Things can only go up.
Dumb luck? Or was it some inside info from some of the locals? Way back in the upper Gull channels, Tony Atwood is searching the docks. He's getting a little help from the locals too. Nope, nothing here, Tony. Better check deeper. Good tip. Tony moves out and scores a couple of nice ones.
Yes, that works.
Meanwhile, Jim Smith is working a hot spot with all kinds of options. As he eases in, he pops a big one in the pads.
Nice chunky fish. Beautiful.
Moving in closer, he finds a bigger one back in the slot. Closer yet, he bangs an even bigger one under the boat lip.
Oh, it's a pig. Nice job. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's what it's all about right there. Oh, my goodness.
The early bite's been hot. As mid-morning rolls around, a lot of guys already have their limits. Time to start looking for the big ones to fatten up the bag. On the other hand, Dean Capra, leading contender for Angler of the Year, is struggling for the first time this season. Will he be able to hang on for the crown?
Dude, I don't think he's going to make the cut. I don't think so. Kind of a peanut.
Back on Upper Gull, Tony Atwood and partner Jaron Wicht have been smoking them all morning, but they're still looking to upgrade.
11:05, we got travel time and stuff. We got about 3 hours left. There's 3 fish I really want to replace. Can do 1 fish an hour, will be all right. Or I'll take the 3 right now. It doesn't matter. Makes it a little easier on my life, but.
There's the first one.
Yep. Another nice one. All right.
Whoa, another horse.
Yeah.
Just one more to go.
Right.
Where's that dog? Brad Leifermann's wild rice safari didn't pan out. No butterflies, no dogs, and no big bass. But he's on top of some deep weed biters now.
For some reason, them shallow fish turned off. And our second spot was a deep spot and had a little cabbage turn, and we pulled in, and man, it was just loaded. It was like a day you dream of. You know, we caught probably 20 or 25 largemouth, and boy, and within an hour we had 8 fish that probably weighed 20 pounds. And we went to another spot. My partner stuck a great big 5-pounder, man. It was so exciting on a jig worm. I'd like to introduce you to Justin. Amateur co-angler turned professional overnight, okay? He has put 2 big dogs in the boat. One with less than 45 minutes to go under pressure. That could have been the big winning fish right there. I mean, it's just so exciting. I'm gonna catch one big one. Can't have my amateur show me up. There he is. Yep. Big one. Net. Net. Get that fish. Yes, baby. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let the big dog eat big. All right, it's a new lake record. We just put a new lake record of largemouth. Look at the dog. Oh, man. There he is. Beautiful.
Time's getting short as anglers scramble to put one last big fish in the boat. Every bite could be the one that puts him over the top.
He was 5. It was, I saw him.
There's a heartbreaker. Too bad. No time for a second chance at that one.
It was fun until I lost that nice fish. The big hog sitting there, couldn't even move him. Oh my God. But it was a nice day out, wasn't that windy, and we caught some fish, a lot of fish. And we'll go see how everyone else did. Figure out where we end up.
As the gang hits the stage back at Ernie's, Jer Kurtzman is first up and sets the mark at 1876.
1876. You got a big fish over 5? What do you got? Ooh, new leader. 1928. You got a
1928. Bob Chapin moves into the lead. But not for long.
22-24. Oh, you're in there. 22-24.
David Hardig steps up with 22-24, raising the bar by almost 3 pounds. Here's Brian Krause.
2084.
2084, good for second place. Next comes the slop master, Jim Smith.
2023. 2023, good bite.
His bag is good for third with 2023. Cody Drazel's turn. How'd that butterfly tip work out?
1942. 1942, you got a big fish you want to weigh, you should weigh one for a breaker. Quickly, all right, what do you got? 20? 20.40.
2040 for Tom Petron. That'll bump Smith out of third. Here's Howie Lee.
What'd you fall into, son? You got 23 pounds there?
No, I think I got about 21. We had a great day. I mean, I had a spot. We got 8 fish on top water, no less.
What you got for Mr. Lee? 2241. 2241.
A new leader by just 17/100ths of a pound. Next up, Tony Atwood and Jaron Wicht. Jaron's the front runner for Amateur of the Year and the son of Thunderbolt's sponsor, John Wicht. You don't suppose that was John's black lab?
All right, what do you got for Tony? Is he going to take it? 2369. You want to grab some?
2369 for the lead, including big fish honors with a 5+ pounder, and he just lost one even bigger. Here comes Brad Leifermann. After a tough morning, he'd finally gotten on some good fish. Let's see how he did.
Well, we got two fish shot around, and the other 6 came out of main Gull.
Okay, cool deal. What do you got? I know you got a leader.
2685.
There you go. Let's hear it for him. 2685.
Leifermann blows it away by more than 3 pounds. What a day. After flogging the rice, Brad had to reach deep into his bag of tricks and pull out one of the oldest guide secrets there is to find those fish.
My hat blew off. I turned around to pick up my hat, and I seen this beautiful cabbage bed, and that's how I found the spot.
Good job, Brad. Great comeback. And we want all you folks to come back too when we find out who wins the coveted Angler of the Year right after this. We're back at Ernie's for the announcement of this season's Angler of the Year award. Dean Capra had a strong points lead going into the final round. Holding off a surge by Howie Lee, Dean claims the crown with 380 points. Capra performed strongly throughout the season, taking 5th on the Mississippi, winning the Whitefish, and placing 3rd on Tonka. And even though Gull hasn't treated him kindly today, Dean was able to rack up enough points to remain king of the hill. Congratulations, Dean, on a great 2003 tour. Jaron Wicht picked up some good points today, putting him over the top as Amateur of the Year. That ought to be good for another season of free Thunderbullets from Dad. So that's going to wrap it up for the regular season of the 2003 Gander Mountain Pro-Am Bass Tour. Now it's on to the Tournament of Champions. 40 pros and 10 amateurs made the cut, and it's down to a scramble for all the marbles. Next week, the Tournament of Champions from way up north on Lake Vermilion. We'll see you there. Until then, we'd like to thank the following sponsors: Columbia Sportswear, Triton Boats, Mercury Marine, Shimano, Friendly Chevrolet, Holiday Station Stores, Garmin, and Vexilar. Additional support provided by